Hey team, wanted to make a quick video. I just made a video about being out car camping and I realized that I had like a grease stain on my hoodie. I looked like a hot mess. I looked tired and haggard. And I will say that's kind of been like I was feeling a little run down just because of the car camping, and I came in feeling a little sick this morning. Like I said, I was cranky and I didn't want to have any of it, but I think that was kind of like I've been living at my parents' house for a couple months now, and I have just, I've really not cared about um like fashion or anything. I'd say for the first month or two I didn't wear my jewelry and I was all about the sweats and comfort over anything. So this past month I've dressed up I think a couple of days and I was like, "Oh wow, I don't know, this is fancy. Okay." So it's different vibes being at home because it's just like I'm just gonna do what's whatever here at the house. And to be frank with you, I don't know where the time went. I have no clue where the time went, because I've got so much to do yet, and I maybe I'll have to look back on the photos, just be like, what all did we accomplish while I've been here? I know I've made a lot and I've, watched a lot of films, so many films and TV shows and everything. A lot of crafting, especially in the last month or so, just getting ready for the holidays, and then like moving apartments, getting my stuff out of public storage. And so it was just like a whirlwind. But I think my last video is kind of telling of where I'm at right now. Like, and this is this shirt I had underneath, and I wore it yesterday. I'm wearing the same clothes for like 2 days in a row because I do not care. 2, 3 days in a row, and then I'll chuck them in the laundry hamper. So literally that's just kind of what my life is right now. And so kind of reflecting back on the year, because it is New Year's Eve. I'd say the whole year has been a whirlwind, and so much what's going on. Everything is different and changing. Um like last year I had the one job, and then I had and it was 4 days on, 3 days off, so I had a lot of downtime. But then this January, February, I hit the ground running, and I had 4 jobs. And then I was trying to balance all of them, and it was all new, and that lasted, maybe like half the year, and then I dropped the full-time position, and so then I was doing just part-time work, and then I started the car camping initiative, and then so I was going to a bunch of state parks and local parks, and then I traveled down south, and then I moved back in with my parents, and I have not moved at all for 3 months. Just in my pajamas, being a bum in my room or down in the basement or sometimes in the sewing room. So it's just like, it's weird. It is weird. But I'd say there were a lot of ups and downs for the year. There was so much stress, and then I did go and see a therapist for a couple of sessions, and then I had an MRI because I had a brain cancer scare. That was probably marked down to the stress that I was feeling. But a lot of, ups and downs. Just health-wise, mental health, because of all that stress from all the jobs. And then the experimentation and of the car camping, that was so different from anything that I have ever done. So that was unique, I'd say. For sure. I think that I could obviously improve. A lot of it was very picnicky, and no cook, which I've done at the apartment. And so I think adding in more food and a little, like, I only spent a couple of weeks actually camping before I just bummed in the car for a solid chunk of time. So I could probably spend more time in the tent. I still think that that would be a good initiative learning environment for me is tenting. And I was going to backpack down in the Petrified Forest, and I just kind of hiked down there for the day, a little sightseeing, and then I did not actually backpack, and I kicked myself. I should have. Instead, I spent the night at a KOA in my tent, but I should have backpacked. I just didn't think that it was a thing, and then I later looked at my notes again and saw that you're supposed to check in at the entrance, like the tourist center, and so I could have probably figured out the backpacking, but I just when I drove up, I didn't see anything on the sign about backpacking, and I think it said no overnight campers. I'd have to look again, but I was just deterred and I wasn't sure what to do about it. So I didn't end up doing it. And I'm a little bit cross with myself because that would have been so amazing and it would have been such a great experience. Even if I just did like the picnicky foods in the car, like I kind of was for much of the summer. So, but I still traveled down south. I went on like a solid vacation that wasn't just up the North Shore for a solid chunk of time, you know, being down south. So that was great. But I've already said, you know, don't want another lease, not looking for a full-time position. So I don't know what is going to happen next year per se. If we're where we're going to start out at. I just made the video about car camping. I'm going to try it at the cabin. I've been doing it in the garage, and it's the cold is really a deterrent, and I came in feeling sick this morning, and so I don't know if it's healthy either, or if I'm just not doing it right, or just being a whiny baby. And I don't have really any friends who do ice fishing, or, you know, so I don't know who I can bug about it. But I'm sure it's like, you know, hunters are spend out, you know, days out in the cold, and so I'm sure I am just being, and I'm unconscious for the entire night, so, and the blankets are fine, so I think I'm just being whiny. But anyway, I'm gonna try it away from the garage, and we're gonna see what happens there, and then we'll kind of try and pick back up on life. It's been pretty cool so far. A lot of cool projects I've been getting to that I didn't even, you know, think about previously, you know, so I kind of had that reality check, like, this is my life, I need to live it, and I was so bogged down with work, 60 hours committed to these roles, but it was so divided that it wasn't to the one role, and so was I really committed to all of them at the same time, or was it kind of really hit or miss? And then so it was a whirlwind there, but I realized how much downtime I was just not using to the best of my ability, using to my advantage, because I was so tired from the work schedule, the traditional work schedule plus some. So I feel like I'm wasting my own life. I was wasting my own life. I have been doing employment roles that are more important, more worthwhile, but I'd really love to amp up the personal life element, because I feel like I've kind of lost track of the people that I care about. And I know that it's harder to make friends when you're older, not in a setting, like a very social setting, like in a school. I've, I will reach out to my friends. We've always had kind of long distance relationships anyway. But it would be great to kind of have people in my close sphere that I can, text, say, hey, what are you up to? Things like that. And kind of get back into a more social mindset. but also a productive mindset too. And so I feel like I'm kind of trying to rearrange the world and by rearranging my life and my schedule and trying to put priorities where they're supposed to be. And it's really stinking hit or miss. I was looking kind of at my goals, and I'll make a separate video, I think, for this, of what I wanted to accomplish through this year. I kind of came up with a set of goals, and I feel like my priorities kind of fell off, especially in the last few months. Well, not really necessarily. But I just feel like last year was so enriching, with the service role that I was in and the environmentalism, and all the experimentation with the wastewater and, things like that. I did just get the solar panel, and so that's very fun, but it's also pretty hands off. So I just have to put the solar panel outside, essentially, and then hope that it charges, and then we'll go from there. But right now it's not necessarily impressing me, and I don't know if that's user error or just fate saying you can't have nice things. But yeah, so we're bringing in 2025. We're trying to keep the innovation of the new schedules, while implementing more of the prioritization that kind of started lacking. Actually, it was lacking for a solid chunk of the year, I'd say. But also, it was just a different schedule, and I was kind of learning in different ways that were just as worthwhile. So it was a very experiential learning experience the second half of the year, I would say. And in a different way, not in the traditional job travail, speaking French now, in the special travail way that you get with employment. So so it was learning outside of the traditional socioeconomic environment and the traditional environment for adults. So I say it was great. It was so cool. It was definitely different from what I've had, who I've been. And so that was also very, very cool. And I just want to keep it going and keep learning. So, but I'll make another video. I'm still trying to figure out my resolutions, so maybe I will make another video once I figure that out too. But okay, so I'm going to do a recap of the official goals for the year, but I just kind of wanted to tell you a little bit about the year and blah, 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 blah for 2025 recap. Okay, thanks. Bye.